Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into Psalms, specifically Psalm 144.
Ah, yes, a really rich one.
It really is. It feels like it pulls together so many different threads. You've got God as a source of strength in battle, but then these deep questions about human life, a pretty desperate call for rescue.
And then the sudden shift to a vision of peace and, well, real prosperity.
Hmm.
Covers a lot of ground.
Exactly. So our goal today is to kind of unpack this mix, look at the key ideas, the striking images, and see what insights pop out for you. Let's get started.
Sounds good. What's fascinating right off the bat is how it opens. It's not with lament, but with praise, specifically praising God as a military trainer almost.
Praise be to the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war, my fingers for battle. Yeah, that's quite an image.
It really is. It frames faith as something active, something empowering, especially when facing conflict.
But then, almost in the next breath, it pivots, doesn't it? He's the rock who trains, but also my loving God and my fortress, my stronghold, and my deliverer.
My shield, in whom I take refuge. Yes, that duality is immediate. He equips you for the fight, but he's also the place you run to for safety.
How do those two things sit together for the psalmist, do you think? The trainer and the refuge?
Well, I think that's part of the Psalm's power. It reflects the complexity of life, right?
Huh.
Conflict exists, you need strength for it, strength God provides, but ultimate security isn't just in your own skill, it's in that divine refuge.
Okay, that makes sense. God empowers the action, but is also the ultimate safety net.
Precisely. And understanding that complex relationship, I think, sets up the next big shift in the Psalm.
Which is quite a dramatic shift. We go from this powerful God, the fortress, the trainer, to this almost bewildered question about us, about humanity.
hmm Oh, Lord, what is man that you care for him, the Son of Man that you think of him?
Man is like a breath. His days are like a fleeting shadow. It feels so abrupt. Why put that reflection on sort of human insignificance right there?
I think it highlights the reason for needing that divine warrior and refuge in the first place.
Right.
If we're just this fleeting shadow, this breath.
Then we definitely can't rely on our own strength alone.
Exactly. Any hope, any deliverance has to come from this powerful God who, despite our frailty, chooses to care. It's a profound statement about grace, isn't it?
Yes, right.
Immense God focusing on ephemeral humanity.
And knowing that vulnerability, that fleeting nature, seems to fuel the intensity of the plea that follows.
Absolutely. It moves directly into this urgent cry for intervention. Part your heavens, O Lord, and come down.
Touch the mountains so that they smoke. It's cosmic language. Send forth lightning. Shoot your arrows.
Very dramatic imagery. And then it gets specific about the threat. Deliver me and rescue me from the mighty waters, from the hands of foreigners whose mouths are full of lies.
Ah, the deceitful enemies. That feels very specific too. Not just chaos, but betrayal, dishonesty.
Right. The mighty waters often symbolize overwhelming chaos or enemies, but coupling it with the mouths full of lies points to a very particular kind of threat. The danger feels immediate and personal, rooted in both that internal sense of being fragile and this external deceitful opposition.
So, okay, we've got God the warrior refuge, fragile humanity needing that help, and this fierce cry for rescue from liars. But like you said, it doesn't end in crisis.
No, it takes this incredible turn. After the plea for deliverance, it paints a picture of what life looks like after God rescues. It's not just about surviving the threat.
It's about thriving.
Exactly, thriving, a vision of complete well-being for the whole community.
And the language used there is just beautiful, isn't it? So concrete. Then our sons in their youth will be like well-nurtured plants.
And our daughters will be like pillars carved to adorn a palace.
Yeah.
Strength, beauty, stability for the next generation.
Wow. And it extends beyond the family, too, to the economy, the whole society.
Our barns will be filled with every kind of provision. Our sheep will increase by thousands. Our oxen will draw heavy loads. It's this picture of complete abundance and security.
Addressing those fundamental needs for food and resources. And crucially, the absence of the earlier threats.
Yes, there will be no breaching of walls, no going into captivity, no cry of distress in our streets. The peace is tangible, communal. The danger is gone.
And the song connects this state directly to faith, right? Blessed is the people of whom this is true. Blessed is the people whose God is the Lord.
Precisely. It suggests this is the outcome, the blessing, that flows from recognizing God as refuge and deliverer. It leads to this flourishing community.
So summing up our journey through this psalm, we started with God as the source of strength for battle, moved through this stark reflection on human frailty, heard that intense plea for rescue,
And landed in this really vivid vision of peace, security, and abundance.
Thinking about those images that really stand out, man, as a fleeting shadow, God training hands for war, the call to part the heavens, those deceitful foreigners.
And then the daughters, like pillars carved to adorn a palace, the barns overflowing. Quite a contrast.
It really is. So for you listening, what does this blend mean? This mix of vulnerability, conflict, and this hopeful vision for the future, all tied up in faith.
Yeah, it's worth considering that contrast. You have the urgent need for rescue in the first half and this almost serene picture of security later. How does the psalm bridge those two worlds? How does calling on that warrior refuge God get you from facing deceitful enemies to that vision of daughters like palace pillars and full barns?
Something to think about. How faith navigates that space between the battle and the blessing.